It's been 6 years of podcasting, and without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring these podcasts to you. So I want to thank today's sponsors. And first off, we have the Pretentious Pickle Company of 190 Water Street in Plymouth. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, go down and check out what they make. They have everything pickled you can imagine, from pickled beets to carrots to mushrooms to onions to Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. They even have pickled or pickled flavor cotton candy, I should say. They make it fresh there every day, and you can go in there and check out what they have to offer. And if you're not in the Plymouth area, you can go to pretentiouspickle.com and check out what they have to offer there as well, and they will ship it out to you. Their stuff is delicious. You should check it out, and they are big fans of ours, and we are big fans of theirs. So thank you to the Pretentious Pickle Company for sponsoring today's episode. And our second sponsor today is Moonrise Cinemas. Moonrise Cinemas is a new drive-in in Plymouth, right on the Plymouth-Kingston line. They are located at 428 Court Street in Plymouth, Mass. And they offer a great selection of movies. You can go. It's very family-friendly. I went and checked out the Goonies there. They've had Marvel movies, a wide variety of stuff. And they're really starting to expand. They have had the Rocky Horror Picture Show this coming year. They're doing music on Thursday nights. On Wednesdays are going to be 420 friendly events. So make sure you check out what they have to offer. MoonriseCinemas.com. It's a great venue. They have a beer garden. They have their own food. Their food's phenomenal. And they're bringing back their French toast, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, MoonriseCinemas.com. And if you use code Inebri-art when purchasing tickets, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you go to MoonriseCinemas.com to get your tickets for movies, concerts, and more. And use code Inebri-art for 10% off on your purchase. And now let's jump right into the podcast.
Before you start, I was gonna say dick shit. Get it all the fuck out.
No, you can do that in the show. So. And the funny part is I hit record right as you were saying that. So I'm sure that'll be in there.
That is perfect. Perfect.
So welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is Andy as always, and I am joined. I mean, weirdly, we've been doing comedy shows live for almost a year, and that's how we met. It's Jamie Aird, stand-up comic. Friend of Josh Adams.
Josh Adams.
I gotta put him in there.
Josh is that famous now?
Yeah, no, not really.
God damn the Jews, they're so quick.
Yeah, so like we met because you were hosting the show, I think, one night. Did you host? Is that
I hosted first, and then I did another show which is in Carver.
Yeah.
But but I'm there most of the time. Because it's close by, and I stop
supportive, and you come in, and 100%. The last show we did at New World, like you were there, Josh was there, a bunch of people stopped in. I think J.R. Adams stopped in.
J.R. Adams. I can't remember who was on the last show.
Oh God, man, the last one. They start to blend together, because.
I'm wondering if it was the one with that girl. She's a comic. She's like Asian, and she has a blind boyfriend.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, she was on there.
Yeah, man.
And her last name begins with an A.
Something like that. Caitlin. Yeah. No, I don't think it was. Yeah, it was something like
that.
I know Musa, he was the one who headlined that night.
Yeah.
I think that was the last show I came there. I can remember. Yeah. And then after that, I did Carver for you guys.
How on earth did you get into stand-up comedy?
AJ, man, he's a parasite. That's the problem.
He's a parasite.
He just wants to swarm everybody in. No, I actually wanted to do comedy for a very long time, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, grew up watching, like, Dave Chappelle and Dion Cole, and there's a lot of different comedy standards. I've always loved it. I've always been a very patriotic person towards it. Red Fox is like one of my favorite, because I always say like people always go like Richard Pryor was like the first like dirty comic. Like nah, like reel up like Red Fox 1940s and 1950s. If you listen to it, it's like I think his album was like Who Farted. Like if you listen to that, like hilarious.
Yeah.
Red Fox and stuff.
And that was like a way different time. It was way more dangerous to be a dirty comic.
You used to get arrested.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Have you watched? It's a great example. Have you watched it's on Amazon.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Isn't her tits like the best tits? Like, I googled if it was real.
Yeah.
I was like, was that a CGI tit? Like, I needed to know. I've never seen such perfect tits in my life. Like, to be honest, I've never been in a white woman until after that, because I was like, I have to see if this is all white woman. Like, I had to see. It wasn't, but it's just a fair thing. But that shows the great example of that time.
Yeah,
and that's real.
Yeah,
used to get
for sure.
arrested and stuff. That's a great show, by the way.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal show, and it shows that kind of like that risque chance of getting arrested, but it also shows like how women weren't, like, I want to phrase this properly because I don't feel like they get the respect they should now in the comedy world.
In comedy, no.
Yeah, let alone then.
No, it's crazy, man. And which is why, because I put shows on too, and I put a lot of shows on the Cape and stuff, and I try to bring in a lot of acts from Boston and stuff. And people say it's a lot of guys, but I try to intertwine a lot of women in it also.
Yeah, but
I also don't book a woman unless like, and this is with everybody.
Yeah,
like I have to find them funny, like really, really funny, like in everybody in total. But it's just that in the Boston scene right now, because I'm not, like, the only time I go there, I do shows. I'm not at open mics.
Yeah.
I'm not at every single show, so I don't get to see every single one of them like that. You know what I mean? Usually I get it through Adrian and stuff like that. So I keep booking most of the ones that I know and ones that I see. And then the other ones who I keep seeing, like, at the some of the open mics, they're not usually at the best.
Yeah, and I feel like the open mics aren't a great time to judge people because they're going to try new shit. And,
exactly. But then at the same time, too, unfortunately, there's a lot of booker who just, like, books and think they're going to, fuck them.
Yeah.
I refuse to do that. I was like, nah, I don't care how great your ass is. Like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of bookers do that. And that's unfortunate that they do that, because a lot of them is just, like, hilarious.
Yeah.
Funny, and that's your aim. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's really funny because, like, I always think of that trope that, women comics aren't as funny. And then, like, I'll go on to, like, something like Netflix, which has a bunch of stand-up specials, and I'll watch some of them, and I'll be like, I mean, it blew my mind when we started doing these shows how funny the women comics are around here, because I'm like, why aren't they, like, they're way funnier than some of the ones that have Netflix specials, and I don't get it.
Hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Some of them fun. You know what people get mad at me about? Not to get mad at me, I guess comics would think that whatever. Like, if I say I like, I feel like I feel stuffy. Here we go. I already have an accent. I don't need something else.
You have an accent? I didn't notice.
I usually, it was crazy thing with my accent. It's an on and off thing, right?
Yeah.
I was born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
how long have you been here?
Since I was 14. 30, so you're talking 16 years.
Okay.
So that. So now, because my accent is that strange thing, I always get that look from people. And I'm like, oh God, because I know it's like they're confused, and then now they're gonna come confuse me.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna ask me like, hey, where are you from? And because I'm not sure if they heard my accent and try to figure out which country I'm from,
right? Or if they just mean where you're from.
They mean like, am I from Dennisport in Cape? Am I from a different state? So now I'm just like, I don't know what. Like, it's so hard for me. It's not, it's not their fault, but still, it's just like such a hard question for me.
I just literally had that conversation upstairs, because I had said something. Tatum's always like, oh, who are you interviewing today? And I'm like, oh, the stand-up comic, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he's originally from, and I couldn't remember whether it was Jamaica or Haiti. And I'm like, it's one of those two, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then, like, later on, she's like, where's he from? And I'm like, originally? I'm like, Cape. What are you asking?
It happens, man.
Yeah.
It happens. That's why I keep telling people, just come over and just go like, yo, I swear to God, I would not be offended if white people just came over to me and said like, hey, I hear your accent. Where's you from?
Yeah.
I heard something. Something was there. A little bit of nudge, If you don't hear nothing, usually I go like, I didn't hear an accent. Where you from? Like, if I could just get this word spread.
Yeah,
podcast by podcast. I'm gonna try.
it doesn't work often, but there was one time where someone came in, they had an accent, and it's that fine line between like Australian and New Zealand, and I'm like, are you from New Zealand? And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you like got that. And it was one of those, you're going to screw it up like 90% of the time, but when it works.
I worked at a liquor store.
Yeah.
And these two white girls came in. Blonde. Very nice looking girls. Liquor stores, they have those.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they come in. And these two girls, and they had an accent. And I'm like, I said to them, and I was like saying to them, like, I swear to God, it was like Australian. I was like thinking New Zealand, same like you were. Yeah. I didn't know it was quite like it was that. I was like, were you guys like from New Zealand or something, or like from like England? I don't know where. I was just trying to pick up because it wasn't fully like Australian, like
right.
It didn't sound like crocodile, but it sounded like morely I was putting it towards New Zealand or something like that, somewhere in Europe. And they were like, no.
New Zealand's not in Europe, dude.
No, not in Europe. I'm saying, somewhere in Europe.
I'm like,
no. I'm bad with geography, but not that bad.
It's like, oh my God, you are an American now.
No. Matter of fact, I know Australia is actually Asia, Yeah, they're actually Asians.
Isn't Australia its own continent?
It's a continent. It's a continent, but the continent where it's sectored, it's actually in Asia.
Huh.
Yeah, okay. It's a weird thing. So I went there to go play cricket when I was in 6th grade. That's how I found out.
Yeah.
First place as a black man, I had to put sunscreen on, so I was a member there. Yeah. I was so hot it is.
Yeah.
Either way.
Anyways, back to the...
With the girls. Yeah. So they gave me their license.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and it said like, South Africa. Right? I was like, oh. I was like, looking at South Africa. I was like, oh, so you guys like... born in like England, and then they were so pissed. They're like, no, we were born in South Africa. I was like, where you get mad at me?
Yeah.
I'm like, when I hear Africa, I think of black people. Like, you get mad at me for?
Not South Africa.
Exactly. Yeah. First of all, I'm not the only person. I've seen my coworker call two people that was like. I swear they were from the Philippines and he thought they were Mexicans. It's like, oh, you guys Mexicans? I'm like, I get it, but nah, man. They look like Manny Pacquiao. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Does Manny Pacquiao look Mexican?
Is that a fighter? Yeah, I don't really know.
You don't know fighters anymore? You're not a boxer person?
No. Look at me. I like hockey.
You don't look like a fighter. My roommate in college played hockey.
I didn't play hockey.
You just watched
hockey. I play like street hockey and shit, but street hockey, hockey's the only sport I've really paid attention to. And even that hasn't, since COVID, I don't even know what season. Like, there was a basketball game on last night, and I'm like, oh, is this like the end of March Madness? They're like, that's the Celtics. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I think like the only black people that plays like hockey are from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, very few. There was like, that's probably like 10 years ago, there was some local dude, can't remember his name, like out of one of the Massachusetts colleges that went and played. And like, they were like, hey, he's an American.
and black and playing hockey and
Sure. Those people who don't really watch, all the other guys go like, God damn it, man! No, they're gonna like, no, we're gonna get a Jordan or take up because that's what basketball started. It was like, you remember basketball?
yeah.
You used to have the hoops with no holes. It just used to get in the bin, and they have to take it out.
Oh yeah, that's like way back.
Yeah, man. I think black people said, we should put a hole in it. No.
The lazy people said that. They're like, I'm not getting the ladder one more time.
No. But, yeah, we diverse from, female comics. Yeah, they're pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know how
funny.
this shit gets going where it goes.
Exactly.
So how long you been doing like, what was your first show? Was it an open mic or?
Yeah, open mic. When I was open mic, I did first. It was actually at the Cape, at this Chinese restaurant. Actually, it's pretty racist. We're Koreans. Koreans. Sorry, Yang. She's never gonna hear this, but Yang's. That's where we all started.
Yeah.
Pretty rough spot. Start at this Brazilian guy started it. One of the most unfunniest person on the planet. Did this mic. Watched him, told a group of people a story about him taking a shit.
Yeah.
And it's pretty disturbing. And they were not happy about it. They were not happy. And that's where I started, from that guy who had like a very strong Brazilian accent.
Yeah.
And imagine a Brazilian accent just talking about taking a shit. Like, you take a shit and it doesn't go your way. And then it just leaks out your butt, and it's crazy. And you just have to sit there. And people started complaining. They were like, we don't get rid of this guy. He's gonna ruin the one mic that's on the Cape. It was like the only open
and
mic.
he was the guy who ran it?
Yeah. But then he finally gave, I think he moved. Yeah, he moved and gave the mic. He was trying to give it to me. I was like, no, I just started fucking do it. So this other guy who started to come named Bobby, he picked up the mic.
Yeah.
And he never writes jokes. He just gets shit face and goes up there. And nobody professional ever run that mic at all.
Yeah.
Nobody. But we did that mic. AJ and them was coming for a little bit, doing that mic. When they stopped coming, then it actually built a few comedians that started coming from like the Cape.
Yeah.
A couple of them, like Thatcher. I don't know if you probably never met Thatcher.
I don't think so.
No, because AJ usually, before he like books you at any other thing, he books you at he tries to book you at the Red Nun if he likes,
Yeah.
He didn't do the best at the Red Nun. He didn't do the best at Red, so that's why you probably haven't met him yet. Then we had like Ben. We had some couple other comics, and then that's when Josh came to. But I started way before Josh. So by the time Josh came, I was already like a year and something in already. Yeah. And Al started coming in and stuff like that. Way before Josh. So me and Al was kind of like there first. And then everybody else came in like after. And then when Josh and them came in, the mic was like running good. Sam Buck also.
Yeah.
Sam Buck.
Oh, he's super funny.
Sam Buck started coming there and stuff like that. Like that's where he did like his, So when he did like his first, I think like starting going mic and started doing, that's where he came. So a couple of people started going like at Yang's. Yeah. And then we used to go after that, we'd go to the Clean Anchor where we do our show. Yep. Where it's not actually a mic for comedy.
It's just an open mic?
It's an open mic for music. And then we forced them to let us do comedy. And they would hate it. Yeah. We've been booed so many nights, but it was rough. Yeah. It was rough. So if you got their attention, it shows that, good you are. And I've gotten them a few times, man. So many times. But I've had some rough nights, man. Matter of fact, I had nights where I did Yang and had a good set. I'm like, I'm not fucking up my night here. Like, I'm done. Yeah. Like, this is going to ruin me.
And that's kind of one of those, like, how you're kind of like, I don't want to say ready, but it's like kind of like a boot camp kind of thing. It's 100%. Been like, if you can suck it up through that, or
when I got good enough, I stopped torturing myself. But I remember. So when comics from Cape would do those stuff, that's why a lot of times when we go to Boston, when there's like people that came for comedies, there it's like nothing. Yeah. Because we already go through that where people is like literally like telling the owners to kick us out. Like go into the bar, like we're gonna leave if they don't. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember someone got mad at a joke I did about my kid. He's like, we're just doing pedophile jokes. I was like, I just said I was gonna put my son to bed. Yeah. Like, I was so angry. He's like, no, you don't put a child to bed. I'm like, what the fuck do you do, sir? Like so, angry.
Yeah.
To fight. That's what people just got mad. So, I loved when like AJ would bring the comics from the Red Nun over there.
Yeah.
And they'll be terrified. We already used to it by then, so we're just going up, doing it, whatever, and they're like, "Woof." They do not want to like.
Yeah, we had our first show recently where it was not. It was a good size crowd, but it wasn't a crowd that was like ready to laugh. You know, like Chris was hosting, and
Chris Bose.
Yeah, and he was kind of like, you know, oh, you know, you guys ready for the weekend? Fucking crickets. And he's like, yeah, fuck the weekend. You know, and then like the first comic went up and, you know, kind of the same thing, like, you know, just a little bit of laughter, but like a lot of just silence, which has got to be the worst. I think I'd rather be like, boo.
It is the worst. As a comic, silence is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's worse when you're a comic and you're silent and then you start laughing? You're like, only me? All right. It's like, I thought it was funny, but I wrote it.
Yeah. So I think it was like maybe the third comic started to get things on, and then Shay.
Love Shay. Shay just did my show Saturday. Such a beautiful soul.
Yeah, she got up there and fucking woke him up. You know, she was really good. And
I'm surprised Chris didn't get him up, because Chris is...
He's great, but like I don't know if they weren't drunk enough yet. Like they were just, you know, they just weren't.
Shay kicked it off, huh?
Yeah, Shay like turned the room around, I think. But
who was the headliner?
Tookie.
Tookie?
Yeah.
How did she do?
She did great. AJ went up after Shay. He did well. But yeah, it was just like the first time. Like, you know, usually they get that. You know, everyone kind of clap and get everyone going, and usually it's like the second time before people kind of are like, oh, the show's starting kind of thing. But like just like when Chris was like, yeah, fuck the weekend. And like everything he did that would kind of, you'd hope for the audience, like someone to be like, yeah, or whatever. He'd be like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
They were not participating at first. It's weird.
This is why I literally have like jokes where I force people to participate.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing like hosting, or if I see that this crowd is like, no, you can't lose. Like I always. That's the only time you see me open with a joke that I'm gonna have people that I usually end with.
Yeah.
Just to have people like get in the mode and start paying me attention, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those are the rough ones, man. But you know, you're just gonna get it sometimes. Some people are just like way down.
Are there jokes that you've either done in the past where you're like, I know it's fucking funny, just like no one's laughing, like it needs to work, or like
all the time, man. There's so many. It always happens. Sometimes it's all even depend on how you deliver it, also, and then sometimes it just depends on the night, because sometimes they might not be paying attention, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
In comedy, if nobody's paying attention, they might miss the punchline, miss something to it. If you open with a joke, that's bad. If you open with a joke, that's bad.
Okay.
And if you don't get them get their attention back on the second joke, like on the second joke,
yeah,
even your best jokes are not gonna work after that. They stop paying attention to you. Like your third joke would have to be something where you're forcing them in of a certain type of way, or a very, like, you're gonna lose their attention, man.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done stuff where I try to open with something that was like pretty new, but it was like offensive to that point. So after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
After that, they just stopped paying like attention. I think Tom, sorry, what's his name? Him and Bert Krishner always hang out. Tom Segura.
Oh, Tom Segura, yeah.
I think they had something when he was saying about that when he was opening for Kurt, right?
Yeah.
And they went in to go to the show, and he said, like, you know, a huge room, and he opened with a joke that was right after the hurricane.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the joke was, but he did it, and they weren't feeling it. And he was like, man, I don't know why that joke is fucking funny. I don't know why I open it. And then he went in and did his whole set. Brutal.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, nobody was moving. It was just nothing, right? It was it. He bombed,
Yeah.
right? And then the lady would say to the bird, I thought you said he was funny. Like, that's the booker, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, she came off. And then these are the rooms where you have 2 shows,
Right.
you know. And I go to New York, you know, those weird things when you do those 2 shows and split. So he did the second show, open. He was like, you know what, fuck now. I know this joke is funny. And he did the same joke again.
Yeah.
About the tsunami, the Hurricane Katrina. Opened the same joke. Nothing. Bomb, nothing. It's 2-night weekend though, right? And he's like, man, I don't know why. So the lady's pissed. The lady's pissed. Like, man, I can't, you know, this was funny or whatever. They went back to the hotel and Kurt said he went to him and said, like, you know, hope you try and not open it with that joke tomorrow. Hope you try not open it. It was like, are you sure, man? He was like, yeah. It was like, you know, I get it, you know, man, that joke is funny though. It's like, you know, but just try.
Yeah.
Right? And he did and didn't open with that joke, killed.
Yeah.
Killed the rest, like the Saturday and the Sunday. Like, it's so weird when you lose people off point. It's like, that's it. It's almost like that's it. They're like, nah, we're not paying attention to you anymore. You don't deserve it.
Yeah. Someone did that in New World. Oh God. Why am I blanking on his name? Like I can picture his face. He's got a podcast about 90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance. Somebody did a podcast.
It's a fairly successful one too. Like,
a bunch of women follow that, I bet.
Yeah. Why can't I think of what his name is? Sorry, bro. I've had him on the show and I'm blanking on his name. But anyways, he made like some sort of joke about like hitting his wife, and the whole room went. And he literally went, "It's fine, I'll get you back." And he did. Like he fucking turned it around and Miguel Perez.
Oh, I haven't seen Miguel Perez like that.
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah, it was like the whole room kind of went, that. But he brought him back, you know.
Miguel always does some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
Him and AJ's always beefing some weird way, come back and forth. They've been friends like forever.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of drama in the comedy world.
We don't try to, like, I don't think they really have the drama. I think they've just been, like, really close, like friends. And I think he moved, like, to New York and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember Miguel's always been like that with those with his jokes. I always have, like, one of those just all the way out there jokes. Yeah. Like, really for all that stuff. I never have, like, any jokes that are, like, what can you say? Like, something that's going to be, like, truly disrespectful if listened to closely.
Yeah.
Start weirdly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nothing like
if it's taken out of context, it sounds horrible.
It could. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have a joke about my son, you know, about, catching him masturbated, you know. You know, when that start, I got to get people to, like, hold on with me. I swear it's going to end better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough because it's such a time where people are rightfully outraged by some things. Mm-hmm. Some people are eager to be outraged by things that aren't really important.
No,
and it's got to be like, have you written jokes and been like, I just can't do that one.
Because it wasn't funny, but I've written jokes that I'm like, in my head I was doing it, and then like I do a rain check back at it. I'm like, man, this was funny earlier. Like,
yeah,
this was the greatest. Like sometimes I call like John, I call like out of comic. I was like, hey, I wrote this joke. What do you think? And I heard nothing. I was like, yeah, I thought so. Also, I didn't think it was funny either.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, good.
Like I'll be hanging out with friends and like I'll crack a joke and. Like, as it's coming out of my mouth, I'll be like, yeah, it was funny in my head. And then you just have to be like, yeah, I'm glad we all suffered through that.
Dude, it's like Patrice O'Neill said, like, no comics writes a joke not for it to be funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just happens that way sometimes, or sometimes the joke just, like, slips, right?
Are there jokes that work better, say, like, on the Cape opposed to in Boston?
No, unless it was, like, Cape specific.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Like,
yeah.
If it's like
AJ does a lot of Cape specific jokes.
Yes, he's a master of that.
Yeah.
It was like, what joke I hate? I told him this, so I don't care. I told him I hate that like that Massachusetts joke he has. Like, you can't say Massachusetts without saying yes.
Oh yeah, ass. Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
It's so fucking fun. I'm like, I wish my nigga could just get hit in his head and just forget. Like, God damn it, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I was sure that if I hit him in his head perfectly at this specific spot, that's going to
You
lose
can
the
make
joke
him forget
and not
that
kill
joke.
him. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't want him to die. I just want that joke to go away.
Yeah.
He keeps, like, he loves it so much. He goes, I haven't been hearing him using it often anymore.
Yeah, I haven't heard him do that one in a while.
But he stretches for it.
Yeah.
And I hate that he stretches for it when he's like not doing good. Like, I'm like, that's you think that's your strong joke? So what you stretch for it? But no, man, he loves it. I'm glad that he stopped talking about Garfield too much.
I think I came around towards the end of that because, like, he talked on the virtual shows. He kind of like mentioned Garfield a lot, but like not in his.
Garfield was his thing for a very while, man. But
Yeah.
these Mondays, I'm just like,
Like, he still brings him up once in a while, but
here it is. He had a joke about his Garfield backpack.
backpack. Yeah. That was. Let's just do AJ's whole bit.
His
whole set.
We could do his whole fucking set.
And there's
man.
a shark and
yeah,
Dick
like,
Beard
he's a shark.
Chevrolet.
He's been doing that a long time.
Yeah,
He's had that a very long
that's
time
a good
ago.
joke.
He had that, yeah. But he used to do that when he used to work there, because that's where he worked for a very good while before he like stopped.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, that Garfield. I'm glad it's gone down just to a backpack now.
And from promoting these events, I've seen like his act change a lot. You know, he's gotten this Hawaii stuff now, but even like jokes he still does has changed a lot from when he started. How much do you kind of like change your jokes like once you're on stage and like tweak it and mess with it, or like when you're on stage trying it, is that kind of like the final draft?
You just have to know if you know your joke very well.
Yeah.
Which I do. Like, you got to know your joke very well. So when you're performing it, because I can hit a joke and then I realize, all right, so that wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. And then I'll rearrange. At the same time, tell my joke, but that's because I know it, and then, mostly it takes a bit more experience doing it and stuff like that. This is my 5th year in comedy, and I'll rearrange and just switch to something else based on the room and what I'm feeling and what is I don't really have like jokes that I say like this is my closer or this is my opener.
Yeah.
It all depends on what the room is, because some room, like, I can open with this and it's pretty strong, and then another room I open and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It all really depends. And I'm very good to start. Like, people always ask AJ, like, AJ put me on a lot of show and he likes to put me up like first.
Yeah.
Shot. Which, is one thing I'm not gonna complain, because I don't care whichever section I go to. But I also, it also gets to set the tone of the show.
Sure. Yeah.
Most of it. And I really think that a lot of the time, I think it's a compliment, because I really think that it should be a strong comic that sets the tone for the show. Yeah, you got your host and whatever, but the host can do well and the host cannot do well.
Right.
But the hosts have more than enough time throughout the whole show to catch up on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you was like the first one, like the what do you call, you open a shotgun basically. In that sense, it's like that one. A lot of the times, which is when I'm paying attention to the host and seeing what they're laughing at, what they're doing, and what they're saying, how they're paying attention, stuff like that. Like I said, my church bit, which I usually end with, whatever the thing is, I started with that at Carver because I realized like they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Like when the host was there, they were giving him, but they were like really laid back and they're doing stuff. I'm like, I have to do something to start
something
them up
big
and
to
get
start.
their exactly, and get their attention and stuff. But I don't really start just like that. And my joke change sometimes because sometimes someone can bother me. Sometimes someone can say something.
Yeah.
And I might address that right there in the middle, and then based on what they say, I can twine myself from that to start back in the joke or to do something. I try not to be, what do you call it, like too
Like too rigid?
No. What do you call it? Like when you have a set list. Why am I brain farting right now? I don't know.
I don't know. It took me like 20 minutes to remember Miguel's name.
Yeah,
so I
it's
can't
all
get
right.
it.
You remembered it though.
Yeah.
Miguel Perez. You should have said Mexican. But about it, I would have put it up. As soon as I said Mexican, I said Miguel.
But I can't say that.
You know he's in a Mexican commercial. You could say it.
Is he really?
Yeah. I don't know what they sell, but he's
Yeah.
in it. He was in an office and he did it like this. It was like, oh yeah, he went to Mexico to do it every day.
Oh, that's funny.
He got 12. He got like got paid like 1,000 peso.
So like $7
Yeah.
or something? I don't know.
Nah, I think like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a vacation plus that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's pretty famous over there.
That's funny. Yeah, I found out him and I went to the same high school.
Word? Went to
Yeah.
school in Mexico? No,
No.
It's America. I know.
Whitman
I
Hanson.
know.
Yeah.
I know. It's. I try not to be too structured, basically.
Yeah.
In my set, I don't want to be too choreographed in in that scale.
Yeah.
Because as soon as someone said something, that can take you off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't know. I've seen comics who are like that, and then they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, damn it, fuck, this lady just screams out in the middle of my set saying like, your ass.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, damn, where do I
Go? Where do I get back into my joke?
Into this?
Yeah,
Exactly. This joke I was going into have nothing to do with eating ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if someone says that, whatever, I know how to like go like, all right, this joke that I was gonna use, I know to entwine something else, either off the top or maybe I have like a joke or a story
Yeah.
that I can do to address that, and then I have like basically something to just go over to the next joke, basically, transition in comedy is so important.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have transitions, but comedy transitions are weird because you can even have transition where it's nothing, you just ignore it, and that's funny.
Yeah. I feel like there's two ways of doing it. One is to like to be able to do transitions well, and the other is to just not do them. And those people who kind of Casey Crawford is kind of like the setup punchline on to the next joke, setup punchline, and he's hysterical.
But his persona is built to not have
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
to not have transition, because he's like and then he goes like he was talking about his mom, said something about his mom, and then said he would go like his dad died. Something he was telling a story about his dad died and funeral like that. It was just like, and then he goes like dad died. This does a joke about that, and then he goes like, and then and then I fed my dog the other day. And this was this, and out of nowhere, a dog wanted to lick my balls. Like it's like that's his
no
thing.
Transition, but it works well for him. Like, so how do you? I mean, I'm sure it takes ages to kind of figure out what style works for you.
I kind of know what most of my transitions are. It's I ask a question.
Yeah,
I do that. Because some of the main people who I like does that. Like Dave Chappelle, that's how he transitioned.
Yeah,
he transitions in more of a question, and it's a very old timey comedy way of doing it. Also, I don't do it all the time. But it is a great segue. We'll go like, anybody has any kids? Anybody has this?
Yeah. Who's married?
Who's married?
Yeah.
It's a great way to transition more easier because you're going to get someone, you're going to say something like that. Or, I'll do a joke and I'll go like, man, how do you move from that?
Yeah.
And that usually get there. You go like, how do you move from that? And you go like, you ever done this and do that? You do a story, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
But, some ways of transitioning that way. But I'm very interactive, and I'm trying to write more stuff that's interactive also, because I realize that's really my strong suit. Instead of, I'm not like a one line or a full punchline comic. I do more stories.
Yeah.
But short stories and outbursts, because I learned to dense my stories. It's usually pretty more longer, unless I'm doing like. Whenever I go to Boston, I'm usually featuring. AJ is the only person I don't feature for. And I said, AJ, you're like the only person I ever feature for. And, even though he got me started and everything.
Yeah.
So I will always respect this man and love him,
Yeah.
A lot of stuff he did for me he didn't have to do.
Yeah, but we can shit on him. It's fine.
I always shit on him. In front of his face. In front of his face.
Yeah.
You know? Like, when he told me he was bisexual, I was like, all right, this is what we're doing now. I was like, all right, you're going to fuck a man in front of me. Prove it to me right now.
Yeah.
But
Mosef was headlined the New World show, and they were talking, they all started talking about, comics here, comics there, this one's weird, blah, blah. And Mosef said something about, like, who's the creepiest comic in Boston or something like that. And AJ's like, I was in Boston like last week. I go, I know who the creepiest comic was last week. That.
he came, he came and got jumped in Boston.
AJ did?
No, Mose.
Oh, really?
Mose, yeah. I've never heard this. I've been there for long. Like, I know, like, real, like, very, ghetto comics who live in Boston that never got jumped. I don't know what he went there and said to them.
Yeah.
And got jumped.
Like, on stage?
I'm waiting to see him.
Like he got Will Smith?
No, worse than that. No, not worse than that. If it was on stage. No, he got off stage and they jumped him.
Oh, like afterwards?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out if it was like some white comics or, who it was. I don't think he does like a lot of like just like black rooms.
Yeah.
He's more open because I left myself open also. It's weird that I do that because if I did the black circuit, I would make way more money.
Yeah.
It's black circuit is more privatized and it's always big out and stuff like that. You can get it. But I also don't want to leave myself just to that because you can also be stuck in that. I want to do for everyone.
Yeah.
That's why I write specifically for everyone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, you get jump at those. But I don't know what would he say? Like I can't wait to see him to ask him like, yo, what? Because I don't want to message him. He's not
right.
Like, he's not gonna give. I want to hear the full detail of why he got jumped.
Yeah.
What did he do?
That's crazy.
Can't be him saying cracker. I haven't met one white person was like got angry about that cracker. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think like we can really get.
Sometimes I think you guys forget about that word.
No, but like I don't feel like we can have a right to be mad about anything.
I don't think it's if you call him racist, they get mad as shit.
Yeah,
100%. You call
I feel like the ones who are the most racist get the maddest.
Oh my god, it's a hit for them.
Yeah,
I'll tell you something, man. People who I don't think everyone who voted for Trump is racist. Yeah. I don't think everyone who voted for him is racist. But everyone that I know that's racist voted for him.
For him, right? Exactly.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
That's why you say that point. And on the Cape, it was there, right? Pretty conservative, pretty there. You know what I mean? A lot of them, right? And I always do well at those shows. I always do so well at that shows because they like hearing me talking. Like, this Negro's funny.
Who was it? Ron Canada did our show in Barrel House Z, and actually he's coming up on our 420 show, and he's like I love Donald Trump. He's like, because if you make fun of like his appearance or him dating porn stars, he's like, even Trump supporters find that funny.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, you can't touch his politics. He's like, but if it's about him physically, he's like, they love it.
Let me say, like, I never do, like, my humor in politics is not even, like, smart. Like, I don't even get it. Like, the only time, like, I did a conservative room, and I usually do it, and I still do good that night, but one time they got mad at me, it's because I told them, I had this joke a long time, I don't even use it as much, is where, I kind of did it to troll them. I said, like, at that time, I think they were talking about, like having a black Santa Claus on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having first black Santa Claus, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, me being from Jamaica, I never got any gifts either way. I never got any. And like, if my mom gave us a gift, she's going to know it's like, it's from her.
Right.
Now, not from this jolly man.
Yeah.
This random white man who just comes and gives gifts and shit. Plus, Jamaicans, like, we're not gonna bring our kids to just sit in a random guy's lap at the mall and shit. Like, they just don't do. That's not our thing. You know what I mean? We had a Santa Claus once that came there, and nobody, like, everybody just went there to just look at him. They were like, "Oh, nobody's gonna bring kids." They're like, "Nigga, no, we're not putting kids in the lap."
No,
it was like, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Either way, so I said a joke, and I said, like, I think like I said, I think like if there's gonna be like a first black anything, I think it should be Obama. And like I said like I think our first black Santa Claus should be should be Obama. And they're like, boo,
Yeah.
boo. I'm like, what? I can't even make Obama Santa Claus. Like I can't do nothing. And they got so bad. They're like, boo. They're like, boo. I'm like, who black guy do you want to be Santa? It was like, make it Will Smith. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what they said to him. Will Smith. I'm like, wow.
Samuel L. Jackson. They'd accept Samuel L. Jackson.
I don't know if you want Santa Claus, go in motherfucker. Sure. But that's the only time something, but it started good. But I usually do pretty good with that room, stuff like that.
What was the worst room you've done?
I've done some bad rooms. What's like the worst one?
My favorite one AJ told me about recently was one that he did in Brockton, where I think that he said there's like 4 or 6 people at a bar. And
Yesterday?
No, this
Friday.
No, this was like a month or so ago, and like everyone is like drinking at the bar, so their backs to the room. He's like, the rest of the room is empty, but they insisted all the comics do their sets.
That just happened to him. That just happened to him this Friday also.
Oh, shut up! Really? Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
because he was
No, it
pissed
wasn't this
at
Friday.
him. No,
Oh,
I'm saying
wait, no.
they just had a show that.
Because I'm like, he was with us Friday, but he did leave to go somewhere.
Yeah, it was
That's
going to
right.
a show. Nobody, and it's just like because they just say like, you guys should have just like canceled it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what was there.
Oh yeah, he put up a bit about that.
So
yeah.
that just fucking happened
Yeah.
to him.
That's
Brockton was actually one of my worst rooms.
Really.
I did a room in Brockton, and this was a room. It was actually a black room, and it was a bunch of Asian people. So, you're not from Haiti.
Yeah.
There's people that there's a bunch of. It was an Asian restaurant. And it was pretty like lounged out, and like it was a good setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And got in there, and one of the first comics went up. This guy went up. Was doing joke. Nobody was feeling. It was like, "Fuck y'all! Like, these jokes are great, motherfuckers. It was good." He
Oh, he started yelling at the crowd.
Oh my god, he got
Yeah.
so bad. He was like, "Fuck y'all! Go back to Haiti." Like, he was so angry. And then the other guy went up. He was like, "Hey, Jimmy, everyone." And I'm like, I got up, and I'm like, whew. How's this? Dude, it was so bad. This girl was like, literally, I was telling jokes. This girl was just on her phone, and she started laughing. I was like, "Thank you." She's like, "Oh, it's not you."
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, "Man, you could have pretended like."
So is it worse to follow a bad comic or a great comic?
It all depends. It's if you curse at them,
Yeah.
it can be hard. If you address it, though, it can be funny.
Yeah.
But you can't. The problem is what he did is that Asian people, people from Haiti, they're the worst. But you can't insult them.
Yeah.
They've been through it rough. It's very understandable. you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of the shit right now, it's still like solid there with them. So you can't just go up there and go say just stuff about like you can't go up there and do jokes like Asian water, like the water in Haiti is so so beautiful and clear. Like if you look close, you can see the poverty. Like you can't, like you can't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They ain't gonna mess with you. So I had to follow that.
Yeah.
Nothing, and I was like, I tried to compliment, didn't give a shit. It was just I was like, nah, we don't trust any of you now. And nobody did kind of well until the headliner.
Yeah.
Did kind of well. It was so awful. And you know what the worst thing is when you do awful, when you're awful, when you have to like the section where the comics sit.
Yeah.
Is right where everybody is, and they're looking at you. So you do awful, and they have to everybody's still seeing you.
Yeah.
And then when the show is over, and then they come over and go like, no, let me tell you something. Just getting up there.
That takes a lot of guts.
Just like, you are already the best. Just get up there and be like, get the fuck from in front of me, sir. No, I'm going up there to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Don't talk about, I'm not going up to be brave. It's not the military. What the hell's wrong with you? It's the worst thing to me when people go like, man, just get it up there. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not just it.
Yeah.
Like, when you do bad when people come over to you just like that, man. And that's worse. and you can't escape. You got to walk through them or just sit there with your head down.
Right.
No, you can't enjoy the whole show because you just Bob. And the guy who cursed at everybody, he literally just left and walked through the middle of them. He's like, "Fuck you." He was like, "Fuck everybody." It's like this shit. It was like my mama's Asian. No, I don't like Asians. Like, he was just so angry.
Wow.
He's like, "Inebri-art, everyone." I was like, "Wow." It's a great intro because the host was not having it. He just went up and was like, "Inebri-art, everyone."
Yeah.
Like, fuck that host. Like, you could have even brought them back together. Something.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, none of that. I do good around my people, Jamaicans.
Yeah.
As long as I say nothing that's like borderline homosexual, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. You know what? I think so. Black, if you hear that black community is, slightly more homophobic than the rest,
Yeah.
it's true. It's
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
pretty much true. If I go to New York and do shows, if I do anything that's like, I'll have them like great. If I do something that's like very like close homosexual,
Yeah.
like they get mad at that. Like I'll be doing great, man. Like I had a joke where I said like, where I used to say like, if I'm gay, I would fuck like only fat. Like if I was gay, I would only fuck fat dudes because I just don't see myself giving up titties. And, they were so pissed.
Really?
They were so pissed. It was like, man, no, this is that. They were so pissed. I'm like,
It's
what?
a good joke.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? I'm talking
Yeah.
the truth. I don't see. See, I was like, the heterosexual titties.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, man. They were so pissed about it. Like,
But then you have that great joke about traveling with your friend.
Oh,
and
yeah.
sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that, because he's Jamaican and he does all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when I get off the stage and come up, it was like, bro, you were mad funny, man. That gay shit though? Nah, but it's just mad funny. Like that's the thing with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even like, I was like, man, I can't even like dicks can't even be like this close. Like, nothing. It's like
Yeah.
it was like, nah, man, magnetically it's touching. Like that's them.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I know I've had some bad nights. I probably just blocked them out.
Yeah. Well, that was gonna be my next question. Like, do like the great nights kind of fade fast, and the bad nights linger?
The bad nights don't linger. Let me tell you, most comics like have quit probably over 100 times. They've quit. It's happening. It's usually
Like every bad night,
show.
they're like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
Oh my God. So many nights,
Yeah.
I've quit, man. I've cried and go like, what am I doing? Like, I'm into
Yeah.
college. I'm like, I was like, man, I can feed my family. Why am I doing this to myself? So like, look at you. Your wife didn't even like at the time I was married. It was
Yeah.
like, your wife don't even like it. Why are you doing this to yourself? And as soon as I get home and I sleep it off, I'm like, I'll try again. That's all about it. New York. Forgot about New York, man. Gotham City.
Yeah.
Gotham City Club. It's probably a year doing comedy. I don't know. I'm stupid. I don't know that a lot of New York is like bringer shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's New York is famous for.
So that's like you have to bring people with
Have
you
to
in
bring
order to get
people and
stage
shit.
time.
Exactly. Those type of bullshit. And I'm like, I was here with Gotham City. I want you to do it and shit like that. Man, I got booked. I got set up there. And I remember there was supposed to be a storm that night or something. And I told the guy that, hey, man, because of the storm, I'm not going to be able to bring, like, people like that,
Yeah.
They wanted to bring, like, I think their bringer shows, they wanted to bring, like, 10 people or some bullshit, whatever. I said,
Okay.
I didn't have anyone. I said, I can bring, and he was like, nah, come in, just bring all you can, whatever the thing is. It's like, So I'm just like, I don't know. And I said, I'm coming from far,
Yeah.
From the Cape, you're talking like 4 hours something drive. It's like, all right. So I went there in the fucking storm.
Yeah.
And I pulled my brother with me. Drove there. Nobody's gonna fucking make it. I went to go pick up. It's a fucking storm. It was coming out. So I picked up one of my other friend in Connecticut because that's where I lived.
Yeah.
I went to high school and college and picked up one of my other friend from in Connecticut. We drove. Nobody else was coming. We got there. I said to the guy, like, hey, I made this and that. And he's like, oh, and there's people. Bro. I said, I only have these two. He was like, you can't use two people. I said, dude, I told you this, and I was coming. You said like come. He was like, oh, I didn't know it was like 2, and he's like, oh, you can't. I was like, no, you can't do that, man. Whatever. I'm like, dude, I drove all the way from Cape Cod,
Right.
in a fucking storm, right? And he's like, nah, man, this, that. And I saw the room, I saw the door closed, and the guy walked in. Walked out, did not give me a chance to perform at all, right? Came all the way. And I called
Yeah.
and talked about this with the person who made me came. I can never forget that, dude.
You think at some point during that conversation he would have been like, well, if you bring 4 or 5 people, you're like,
Nothing, dude.
yeah.
Nothing. You said bring all the thing I had was my friend, but I came from far, dude. Not even like 5 minutes or something. Nothing.
Yeah.
Came from that something. You're already not paying anyone to fucking do the show. Like, come on, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Because, you just started doing comedy. You're just excited going on,
Right.
on those things.
Well, I'm going to do it in New York. I can see that being
Exactly.
like, yeah.
Now I don't take shit, man. First, like, we talk about payment, talk about, like, putting up. Like, I like, there's certain stuff I would do again
Yeah.
anymore and stuff. I don't do nursing homes. Fuck that.
Nursing homes.
Ah.
We had a nursing home reach out and wanted a show, and I was just like, I don't know, AJ. He's like, nursing homes love me.
He does put out some shows at
Yeah.
nursing homes.
Yeah. I feel like AJ would do a show anywhere.
Probably would. He didn't perform that night, man.
Yeah.
I remember driving home. A car kept sliding in the snow. I almost had a bunch of accident. A truck spinned around right in front of us. Didn't hit us. We almost got. We had to drive like slow. So the drive is 4 hours. Took us 8 hours to get back.
Ugh.
Because how slow we had to drive.
Right.
And then we had to drop our friend off. Couldn't even drop him. He lived up a hill. Couldn't go up the hill. So you had to let him off down. So you had to
Let him walk
the
up
rest
the
of the way
hill.
and drive home. And I quit, man. I quit comedy. I quit comedy until I woke up this morning. And there's plenty of times where I've quit. And I know plenty of comics who, like,
Yeah.
have done, like, you've done some shows and, some bad. But there's more good than bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you do shitty, dude, you always feel like, man, maybe I'm not been that funny. Maybe all my jokes are not funny. Same jokes that probably killed,
Yeah.
like just the night before. But because it didn't work this night, you're like,
I'm terrible.
yeah, definitely failing.
Yeah.
It's this because sometimes I don't like to blame the room, but sometimes it can be the setting.
Yeah.
It can be just the atmosphere. It can be just, you have those rough nights where it's not. So sometimes I feel it for headliners where like every night, like bam, bam. I'm just like, man, I can't imagine every night just being the greatest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I know it's always more good than bad. But I know the bad, they usually take it. You see it?
Yeah.
If you realize comics, when a comic do bad, comics like stay away from them. Or if we talk to them, we don't talk nothing about the set or bring up like whatever the case is. I remember we went to Maine, AJ and a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And this other comic, his name was Tony, and all of us did great. Tony did shitty, and we all had to drive back in the same car, and nobody talked.
Yeah.
We said nothing for a good like 3 hours until like after we dropped Tony off.
Because then you could talk about it.
And after
Yeah.
we dropped him off, the girl was like, "Man, my set was great." I was like, "Yo, man, I did this, that." I was like, "Nah, poor Tony." But
But I suppose everybody has that day, right?
everybody has
Yeah.
days. But it's just fucked up. Imagine you go on a road trip, long ass road trip. You're the only one that did shitty. All of us are driving that did a great set.
The
was
worst part is
fantastic.
have to be sitting there going, I know they're not talking about it because of me.
Is that so?
But that actually is right about time. I'm going to have to. But where can people go to find out where you're performing? You mentioned that you run shows on the Cape. And
Yeah, a lot of my lists you can find me at Jayard, Jayaiard. That's my Instagram, or Jamie Eard, and on Facebook. And you can follow 1 Inch Punchline also on Facebook. It's not a dick joke. It's about Bruce Lee Punch.
it's a Bruce Lee thing. Yeah.
You can follow me in that. You mostly see some of my shows. This Friday, I'll be in Rhode Island at the Kohai Comedy Circuit.
I don't think this is going to go before then.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
So there's a
Probably
few
not.
Fridays ago.
A few Fridays ago.
Yeah.
A few Fridays ago. But like how honest you are. But yeah, you can follow me on my social media.
To 1 Inch Punch, 1 Inch
If you want to see our
Sorry,
shows,
do
you
that
can
again.
follow at 1 Inch Punchline, or
Punchline,
just
thank you.
follow my Instagram at
Yeah.
at J-Eard. Yeah, at J-Eard.
Are you doing the TikTok thing?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying my TikTok. TikTok is also J-Eard.
Yeah.
Um,
I just feel so old being like, I don't. People are like, oh, you should use it to promote the podcast. I'm like, I don't want to lip sync or dance.
I don't lip sync at that. I just make up. I've been doing a lot of reviews and stuff. Like I did a review on this. They had a they had a contest. It was called anus. It's the anus contest.
An anus contest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were saying like, bring your best anus out for women. I'm like, how do you even judge that? So I reviewed that. That one been pretty. That one was pretty went kind of almost like viral a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was just reviewing that anus contest.
That's funny.
It was in Texas. I wasn't surprised that it was in Texas.
Yeah, that's not that big of a surprise. I know Jimmy Cash does like food reviews, but since he's a janitor, it's like the school lunch.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, those are
And
great.
he does a lot of those stuff.
Yeah.
But I mostly do I do reviews or I put up like silly video. Nothing with lip sync. I do nothing that the teenagers are doing.
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm already being judged. I don't want to be judged any further than anything else in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Or just look up Jamie or they will all pop up.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming and chit-chatting with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
And we'll catch our listeners again next week when we're talking to someone else. I'm not sure who's on the list, but... Oh, I do. Actually, I can't say because sometimes you get shuffled around.
All right.
But we'll talk to you guys next week. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.